You know, sometimes Marjorie Taylor Greene actually surprises me. And this week, during an interview with Charlie Kirk, Marjorie Taylor Greene came like so close to actually understanding the fact that the Republican Party has become so insane that even Republican voters across the country don't want to vote for them. Now, I'm going to read you Marjorie Taylor Greene's quote in just a second. And remember, like I said, she came close to getting it. Like, she understands the problem. She just doesn't know what caused the problem, or she refuses to admit the problem. So here is what she had to tell Charlie Kirk. We're literally losing our country and our children's future. Well, that's not true. And I believe that we should be standing up with everything we have in Congress, fighting the Biden administration, because our own voters don't even want to vote for Republicans in Congress anymore. She then said that, I still stand with Donald Trump. He's definitely the leader of the party. But then she said, but they are done with Republicans in Congress. We have to fight harder. We have to earn their trust and show them that we will stop the communist Democrat Party from destroying our country. Now, she says a little more, and I'll read that in a moment. But let's take stock of what she said here. Republican voters don't even want to vote for the Republicans in Congress. I think last week's elections kind of showed that, wholeheartedly. I think last year's midterm elections showed that. Let's not forget, Republicans were predicting that they were going to flip 60 to 70 seats in the midterms. Instead, they ended up with a 10-seat advantage, which is probably going to drop down to a 9-seat advantage if George Santos gets expelled. So they underperformed. They've underperformed in every special election since last year's midterm election. And of course, as I mentioned, in last week's elections for this year. Republicans are getting trounced. The polls are saying the Democrats are in trouble. Well, the results are telling us the Republicans are the ones in trouble. And that's what Marjorie Taylor Greene is pointing out. She's like, we're getting our butts kicked. But she thinks, and this is, of course, where she doesn't understand the cause of the Republican Party's problems. She thinks the problem is that they're not pushing back on the Democrats, who, as she says, are literally destroying the country. How? How, Marge? Like, that's the thing your party never actually goes into. Okay, you never actually explain how the policies of the Democratic Party, the laws that they have passed, you've never been able to actually explain how they're destroying the country. Because Biden didn't pass a law that made inflation bad. And in fact, by the way, inflation is going way, way, way down. He hasn't passed a law saying, just open up the southern border. The southern border is not open. That is a Republican talking point. So what has he done? Like, what has he literally done? What decision has he made that has put America in chaos? Because I don't know of any. I mean, I'm not even president of the Biden fan club, trust me. But destroying America, that ain't happening. And that's what the Republican voters out there understand. Meanwhile, your party is out there talking about cutting Social Security, cutting Medicare, cutting Medicaid, cutting food stamps, cutting school lunches, vowing to introduce more pollution into the environment. That is literally a part of Donald Trump's new platform. Polluting more. You're banning books. You're banning certain human beings out of existence, members of the LGBTQ community. Your party is a party of regression and hate, led by a man who this week has been borrowing rhetoric from Adolf Hitler. But no, your problem is that you're not pushing back hard enough on the Democrats, right? Now, she did continue. And this just shows kind of how dumb she can be. I think one of my biggest frustrations, Charlie, is before I became a member of Congress, it was easy for me to say, when I'm in Congress, I'll do this X, Y, and Z. And then when I got here, I found out that just being able to do those things is a lot harder than saying it on the campaign trail. And that's been shocking to me. You didn't know you were going to have to work? Like, you thought you just get into Congress and they hand you a magic wand like you're walking into Hogwarts and you're like, hell yeah, new legislation. No, you have to do the work. And you haven't even done the work, Marge. Like, I thought this would be easier. The only thing you've worked on is articles of impeachment based on 0 crimes. Articles of impeachment against President Biden, which you introduced like within his first week in office. Articles of impeachment that failed this week against Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. You're not actually doing work to benefit anybody in your district. So you want to talk about Republicans not wanting to vote for Republicans because we don't do anything. You may want to be saying that in front of the mirror because you are the poster child of doing absolutely nothing of value in Congress. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel? We also encourage you to like, comment, and share, but again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.